Hello, good morning. Our first issue is ED, Enforcement Directorate, and attachment of assets. Recently, Enforcement of Directorate under Fugitive Economic Offenders Act has attached 8,000 plus crore rupees of money from fugitive economic offenders. Who is a fugitive economic offender? Fugitive economic offender is defined under Fugitive Economic Offences Act, Offender Act, which says that the one who has committed the financial fraud of above 100 crores and leaves the country to skip or to escape the trial in India is declared as fugitive economic offender. In this context, ED has the power to attach the assets in the pre-trial stage itself. If we take the examples of Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi, they escaped India and they owe thousands of crores to the Indian banks. Now, ED, as it attached the assets, it is able to recover at least some part of it, and this recovered amount is given to the banks. That's the issue. Now, banks are experiencing huge losses, especially due to pandemic, and even before that, Indian public sector banks as well as private sector banks, they were experiencing non-performing assets. This measure will help to recover money from the willful defaulters. Next issue is China and border deployment. Recently, China is deploying Miman Chetan militia, or these are specially trained force of China. These military units majorly comprises of Tibetan youth because Tibetans they have high altitude acclimatization. That's why Tibetan youth are trained for high altitude warfare in this grouping, and this particular grouping is similar to Special Frontier Force of India. In India we have Special Frontier Force which comes under army. In this force, persons of Tibetan origin, these are trained for high altitude warfare. China is mimicking India in this context. Mimang Chetan is a special military grouping consisting of Tibetan youth which are used for high altitude warfare. Now, India has expressed concerns regarding China's border deployment. It said that China has given the written assurance that we are not going to deploy any forces near to the border. We went for disengagement after LAC conflict of last year. But China said this is to protect our sovereignty, our borders from the aggression. That's the China stand. In this context, we have to see how this entire event transpires between the two countries. Next issue is climate crisis. Recently, UN draft report on climate change, it has said that earlier reports predicted life-changing or earth-altering climate change impacts only after 2100. That's why we wanted to limit our greenhouse gases and global warming before 2100. But now this particular draft report says that the earth is going to experiencing earth-altering impacts of climate change before 2010 itself. Whatever measures that we might take, in the short term, we have to face the consequences of decades of pollution that we have caused. In this context, at least in the mid and long term, we have to reduce the greenhouse gases which causes the climate change. That should be the way forward for us now. Next issue is relaxations for voice-based BPOs. India is called as hub of BPOs. In this context, recently, the cabinet has approved for change in the BPO policy. We call it as other service providers policy. Other service providers or voice-based BPOs, for them norms are relaxed. Earlier distinction was there between domestic and international entities. Now that has been removed. That means a single BPO can support domestic company as well as international company, and it is allowing the change norms are allowing for electronic private automatic branch exchange facility, and all these together they will enhance the ease of doing business. If we consider India's service sector, especially IT and IT enabled services, BPOs play a major role. In this context, relaxation of BPO norms will allow India to be more attractive for the BPO investments, and it allows ease of doing business in this ITES services. Next issue is CCI. Competition Commission of India started a probe over Google's unfair trade practices. In the smart television operating systems market, Google is dominant. Most of the smart TVs are using Android systems. In those TVs, we have pre installed apps. Now, CCI says if you have pre installed apps, and as you are the operating system provider, you have more advantage. That means you have the dominant position. Under CCI Act, we have this section 42A of Competition Commission of India Act. Under this act, it says that abuse of dominant position is considered unfair trade practice. In this context, CCI started probe over Google's unfair trade practices, but Google said there is no unfair practice in this. We are providing the operating system. Our operating system supports certain apps. The other apps also can be installed. We are not placing any restrictions. That's the Google's stand. Next issue is Iran-USA conflict and sanctions. Recently, Iran has elected a new president and USA has blocked Iran-linked websites. And Iran says it is against the freedom of speech and expression. In the last 1 year, USA and Iran are trying to revive or at least in the last 7 to 8 months, USA and Iran are trying to revive the nuclear deal. Nuclear deal is officially called as JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, which was signed earlier and which was abandoned by US unilaterally. Now, as they are under talks, why to do this provocative activities? USA also imposed restrictions on China's linked websites too. So USA blocking Iran and China's websites is criticized as a violation of freedom of speech. But USA says they are providing false information. That's why we are blocking them. That's the issue there. Next issue is, see, from here we started editorials. From Iran conflict onwards, these are all editorials. Next issue is Jammu and Kashmir outreach and regional security. In Jammu and Kashmir, regional instability is there. In that context, today, regional party members are invited to meet with Prime Minister. In this context, maybe the reason behind this political outreach would be linked to not just the regional Jammu and Kashmir issue, but then a larger international and regional issues like dialogue with Pakistan, which has become necessary now. Afghan crisis is there. Now, this disaffection due to Jammu and Kashmir bifurcation, this might cause security issues. In this context, having confidence from the regional parties and alleviating the fears might reduce this security kind of issues. That's one issue. And regional security issues. As Afghanistan is moving more towards the formation of new government, probably by the Taliban's, now this is a major concern to have a safe and secure borders. In this context, cooperation from the regional parties is utmost necessity. Next issue is gender technology gap. This gender technology gap, this has been discussed in this context. Global System of Mobile Communication, GSMA, in its report has mentioned that 390 million women have no access to internet, especially in the developing and least developed countries. In India, only 14% of women have access to internet. 14.9% of women have access to internet. And in this regard, internet is considered as a basic right, basic human right. So digital empowerment of women is necessary. Bridging the digital divides, training the women, providing the digital infrastructure, all these would help in enhancing and encouraging the digital empowerment of women. Next issue is center's powers and constitutional principles. Recently, Tamil Nadu has mentioned that it is going to replace the word central government with union government. Union government as a word is mentioned in the constitution, not the central government. If we observe all the articles, including our Article 1, Union of States, Union government, these are the words used, not the federal government, and not the central government, because central government has the tendency of more powers to center. But in India, center and states have powers shared by the constitution itself. In the Constituent Assembly debate itself, they discuss that union government is the appropriate word instead of central government. This change of policy by Tamil Nadu will reflect these constitutional principles and constitutionalism. Next issue is blended learning. Blended learning. Recently, UGC has issued Higher Educational Institution Norms (HEI) norms, which said blended teaching and blended learning should be the norm at the higher education level. That means 60% classes offline, 40% online. That kind of mode should be adopted by the higher educational institutions. But if we observe blended education, that is including digital and physical world, it has challenges. Only those who are resourceful, private corporate colleges can incorporate such things. Already state universities are underfunded. In this context, providing for mandatory norms of blended learning will reduce the access and equity and quality of these are the principles of national education policy. These might be compromised in case if it is made mandatory. Already UGC has given these norms. It needs to reconsider this. That's this article. Thank you very much. All the very best.